when it comes to winter time or holiday season, one of the best things as an NBA fan is NBA Christmas Day, where it's pretty much really good matchups starting from the start of the day going till the end of the day, and the games start earlier, so you'll like unwrap your presents and then have a little breakfast, chill, and then just like that, the Knicks or somebody's gonna be on TV playing. So this year we're just gonna talk about what matchups there are and what games you should watch.
So we start off with Hawks versus Knicks, where news just got out that Trey Young's out with COVID. Yeah, he's out
Yeah,
in COVID protocols now. So I think that really changes the way that this game goes. But I don't know. The Knicks have been on a kind of a rough run recently. I mean, they've lost a few games. They started the year off pretty good, but just went on a complete downfall.
yeah,
But for the Hawks, I really think they need to play Cam Reddish more. They give Timothy Luau-Cabarrot like 2 times the minutes that Cam Reddish gets, and I think Cam Reddish is so underrated. He
mhm.
has so much to prove. He has so much potential. I think he's ready for the big stage, and he should get more minutes.
Right now, as of right now, the Knicks are 13 and 17, sitting at 12th in the Eastern Conference. And for a team who had playoff aspirations after a good year last year, went to playoffs, great season from Randall as he won Most Improved, good season from RJ Barrett. Those guys brought their percentages up. But when you look at their stats this year, their three-point percentages and their shooting percentages have gone back down from the 40s to the 30s. And you could just say that about the whole team. They're just not shooting as well. Last year, they're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. And this year, they haven't been as good on defense. And like you mentioned, Trae Young, news just got out that he's in health and safety protocols. So obviously, that makes the matchup a bit less exciting because, Trae Young versus New York, all stuff like that. And they actually matched up last year in that first round. And Cam Reddish, he's been good as well as DeAndre Hunter is a good defender. I want to see him improve his game offensively, and he's going to be good as well. So this Hawks team, one thing is I feel like if Capella is a bit better at like finishing, you know what I mean? This Hawks team could be good right now. The Hawks are sitting right above the Knicks at 11th, and they're 14 and 15. So both these teams had playoff aspirations after good years last year, but this year it still should be a good matchup, but not as great as we thought.
Yeah, and with the absence of Trey Young now, that gives up more space for Sharif Cooper, so he now can get more playing time. I think he's really good, and yeah, if he gets more playing time, he'll be a really good role player for now, but hopefully he can get better in the future. But I think the Knicks will win just because Trey Young's out. I mean, Trey Young loves playing against the Knicks. He's so good, but I don't know. Without him, the team just looks average, average at best. So I think yeah, I have to go with the Knicks win.
Yeah, I don't know. Other than Trey, because Trey Young's been great, obviously, and he's been a main initiator of the offense for this Hawk squad. I yeah, I like the Hawks, but I do got the Knicks winning this one. Our
Yeah,
next
and the
game,
next
this game, by the way, tips off at noon. Our next game, starting at 2:30, is Celtics versus Bucks. Tatum versus Giannis,
I
and
think Giannis might be out with COVID protocols. He might be out, but he
yeah,
might
I
come
don't know.
back by then
I
as well.
mean, at this point, with all the health and safety protocols, like I'm just go off on a limb here, but because of all the health and safety protocols, so many stars have just been missing time, like John Morant, LaMelo Ball, Kevin Durant now, Kyrie, James Harden. Uh, there's like Trey Young. There's just so many great players who are in health and safety protocols, and this part, this at least the last 2 weeks, we haven't been seeing teams at full strength, and some teams haven't won games that will matter come the playoff time, and the whole entire health and safety protocols thing is just going to affect how their season plays out. But
Yeah,
Celtics and Bucks, one thing about the Bucks is when their trio of Middleton, Holiday, and Giannis play, they are one of the best teams in the NBA. But when one or two of those guys are out, that's when it gets a little bit iffy. We saw Drew Holiday drop 40 points the other day. But ideally, if you're the Bucks, you want all three of those guys on Christmas Day playing for you.
Those three guys as a partnership, just a trio. They're
Mhm.
so good. I mean, they won the NBA Finals last year, but
Yeah.
without each other, I think without them, a single player will flourish. I think as a duo, both
Mhm.
both of them won't flourish at the same time. I think Middleton and Giannis flourished that one season. I don't know. I felt like Middleton was just he was decent that season, but I think he can get better.
He
Drew
shot
Holiday,
very good from the field, and I feel like he complimented Giannis as the second player.
yeah, but
Because that was you're talking about which year you're talking about 18-19 or 19-20?
I think 18-19. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
the year
Giannis's
Raptors.
MVP
Yeah.
season, and Chris
Mhm.
Middleton really showed what he's capable of. But talking about the Celtics, they're kind of doing what they did last year. They're like the 8th seed, 9th seed, like they're just an okay team. And one thing is, other than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who are both great scorers, and Jaylen Brown's also a great defender, he's improved his game on the offensive side of the ball a lot. Thing is, they're not playmakers. They're not willing to make a play. I don't want to say this, but those two guys are a bit more selfish because other than them, you have Robert Williams who's been good, but like Marcus Smart, like they really need to improve their supporting cast if they need to get a better supporting cast around that duo. That's one thing the Celtics need to like. They need to get other scorers or other guys who can do it, and they need to get playmakers because the Celtics right now they're sitting 15 and 15, 8th seed. They're just last year same thing happened. They were like a this year they made some good small additions in the offseason, but nothing too special to move them over that hump.
Yeah, and I don't know. Celtics are solid. I didn't really understand the head coach signing of Ime Udoka. I didn't really know. I felt like there were a lot better coaches on the market that they could have took, but I guess they wanted him.
Yeah,
And right now it seems like he's okay, average at best.
yeah. I mean, they're not they're not great. They're not too bad. They're just like they're an okay team.
Yeah, but
And
I still have to go with the Bucks win. I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna go the
they're
Bucks. I trust at least if all three of those guys are playing, I'm booking a Bucks win. But like if at least like two guys are playing, I still think they'll be good enough to beat the Celtics. And the Bucks are
and
a very good team defensively, and they also have a good supporting cast around
mhm.
those,
and
like Bobby,
and the next
Dante
game,
DiVincenzo, and all those guys.
yeah, the next game is at 5 o'clock, Warriors versus Suns, and I think this game's going to be really good.
Yeah, for me, this is my
Yeah.
personal favorite game. Actually, well, Nets Lakers is up next, by the way, but we don't know if
I think
KD
this
or
is going to be
James is
better.
playing.
I
So
think this is going to be better.
I feel like the Warriors Suns game is gonna be better because right now, if I'm not mistaken, those are the top two teams in the Western Conference. I know the
Yeah.
Warriors just lost a game last night to our Raptors, but they were shorthanded as they didn't have Curry. And I think Jordan Poole was I don't know if Jordan
No Curry, no Draymond, nobody. It
no
was
Curry or
just
Draymond.
it was
But yeah, right
Raptors
now,
versus
those
Warriors.
teams, the Warriors are second seed 24 and 6, and the Suns are 23 and 5. And the last time these two teams played each other, if I'm not mistaken, it was a really good game. I'd like to see that on Christmas Day. You know, Steph Curry, I'm gonna be honest, Steph Curry's been a bit worse these last 2 weeks, but you know, he's going for the record. And then, by the way, we'll talk about the record a bit later, but he's going for the record. And then he closed out that game against the Celtics. His percentages have gone down, but he's still shooting like what 35%, 36% recently, which is great. Is like over league average, but like Steph Curry shoots normally 41%, 42%, but still he's having a good impact. I'm not saying he's worse, but he's just a bit below what you expect on the efficiency side. But I think this game's gonna be good. Devin Booker's been good as well
No, I
as
think actually Devin Booker's been out for the past like 15 games, so he hasn't been there. But I think Landry Shamet has been doing pretty good to take his role for now.
yeah,
And
I know.
right
Yeah.
now, they're 23-5, I think, without Devin Booker, which is amazing.
hmm
And
I
yeah,
meant
I
to say
think
Aiden, by the way. Am I confused? But it's fine.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
yeah,
duo,
I think
Chris Paul. Oh yeah, my bad. Chris Paul has been
yeah.
Chris Paul's been good. I like what he's brought to this team.
MVP candidate. He's been so good.
Yeah.
I think a really
Yeah,
underrated.
Landry Shamet, he's shown some flashes in like Brooklyn, Philly, but I like Landry Shamet as like a
role player.
a
I
good
don't think.
scorer for my team, like a guy who can average a solid 10 points for my team, like kind of like Shake Milton in a way.
I don't think he's a starter. He's good as a bench player.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's starter starter worthy, but like a guy who can come off the bench, give you like 6-7 points per game.
Yeah, but I think this game will be really close. But I would have to edge for a Warriors win, in my opinion.
You know what? I'm gonna agree because Steph Curry, Jordan Poole.
I think Jordan Poole's probably going to be out for that game because he's in COVID protocols now.
Oh yeah, I don't know, when does he come back? I know he's in COVID protocol. Wait, I thought he was resting. I thought I meant rest for Curry, but
no, he was there, but he's in COVID protocols now. But yeah, I think they're two pretty even teams with Devin Booker back. That could change my prediction, but right now it would have to be Warriors win.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I got Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry is just gonna go lights out. I mean, let me see the Warriors box score from last night. Jonathan Kuminga had a great game last night, as well as Damian Lee. Good to see some of these guys like Gary Payton, Moses Moody getting their shine on a shorthanded Warriors team last night that lost to the Raptors.
And the next game at 8 o'clock is Nets versus Lakers. And without KD, I think for the Nets for that game, AD is going to be out as well.
Yeah, because
two teams that are missing their stars, but I think
is Westbrook out? I think
I don't know if Westbrook's out. I don't think he is, but AD's out for sure. I think 4 weeks.
Yeah, I saw AD's out for
4 weeks.
But Westbrook was in protocol, but he cleared protocol, so he's good.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Lakers have stepped it up after a rough start to the season.
I mean, they still did lose to the Timberwolves. That was a bad loss, but they got Isaiah Thomas back, who scored 19 points in his debut. Happy for him. I'd like to see what he contributes to this team in the future. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't think Isaiah Thomas is going to be as good as he was, or like even I don't think he's going to average 15 points or something. I think he's going to average.
He's not even.
I think he's going to be like a guy who can average like around 10 or less, but still contribute to winning basketball for that Lakers team.
And prime IT was like 2015, 16 or 16, 17.
Yeah,
he was top 5 MVP candidate that year.
I think he finished 4th, and he averaged like 27 points per game.
Yeah, he was so good. Celtics underachieved that year, sadly. But that's fine, though, because he was an amazing player. But I don't think he really deserved to be called up. I think Lance Stevenson deserved it more. I don't know. I mean, he saw the game against the Timberwolves. He did a good job. I mean, I feel like they could have given him a bit more time. I feel like they could give him a bit more time in the G League. Because one game, sure, he dropped 42 and had a great game, but maybe they could have given him. I mean, the Lakers chose to sign him. It's not the Nuggets' decision. Like, the Lakers were the one who signed him on a 10-day deal. Yeah. Lakers are the retirement home, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like there have been a couple other teams that actually could have used them. I feel like a really good signing or a really good team that could have had them, maybe it was like a team with like a young guard like the Rockets or maybe like the Pistons, Yeah, he could be like last year how John Wall mentored or like the Rockets, but he played a bit, you know what I mean? Like in a mentorship role.
Yeah,
but also playing. That's what I think I personally would have done because he obviously has a lot of knowledge
and Nets, yeah, they just got KD. No, KD's out. They just got Kyrie back, but he got put into health and safety protocols right away.
If I'm not mistaken, James Harden is also in health and safety protocols.
He is?
Is he? He's out.
I didn't know that, but
yeah, no, James Harden's also in health and safety protocols.
If that's the case, then okay, Lakers win, I guess.
Yeah, the Lakers are winning this one for sure.
I think
unless those guys come back from health and safety protocols.
Yes, it is.
That takes like 10 days, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Yesterday's game, I think it was Nets versus Magic. Let me check the starting lineup for the Nets that game. Their starting lineup was Kessler Edwards, David Duke, Blake Griffin, Patty Mills, and Cameron Thomas. I mean,
Oh,
that's just sad, I guess.
they
They only
ended
had
up
8 players
losing
available.
to
They
the
only had eight
Magic.
players available.
They lost
Yeah.
to the Magic, but the Magic have won like 5 games up to that point. The Nets,
Hmm.
David Duke, 18 points. I heard about him last week. He's scoring 18 points. Patty Mills, Cam Thomas, and Blake Griffin did majority of the lifting, and they had 8 players play. Literally
Hmm.
8 players. And then
Yeah.
their bottom of their rotation after the starting lineup was more so guys who are like bench players or a bit out of the league type players or like decent players like James Ennis, Shaq Harrison, Langston Galloway, you know what I mean? And then I like that they're giving uh I like that they're giving Duke and Kessler Edwards some time because those guys are young. So I'd rather them start them than the and Cam Thomas than the old guys who might be better at the moment, but great game, I guess you could say, from those young guys. But yeah, Nets Lakers, obviously Nets gonna be short-handed. I got the
Yeah.
Lakers winning.
Lakers win. Lakers
I
win.
got the Lakers winning this one.
Yeah. And final game is Jazz versus Mavericks at 10:30. I
Hmm.
mean, I think this is going to be a really close game. I think Jazz have nobody in COVID protocols yet, I think, which
And
is good.
as far as the Mavericks go, did Luca?
Luka Doncic has been out the past few games selling my fantasy team, but that's fine.
Yeah, I did see that. Um, I got the Jazz winning this one. I feel like the Jazz have been underrated really by everybody this season, as exactly they were last season. But
Are
people
they
just,
third in the? Yeah, they're third in the West, 20,
Mhm.
20 and 9. I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
really good. Donovan Mitchell.
people just keep sleeping on the Jazz.
Mhm.
Like Donovan
They
Mitchell
have,
doing his thing. Rudy Gobert, I feel like he's just got a lot of hate since the whole bubble thing, and or just the whole entire COVID thing. But like, really, he's a great player. I feel like great defensive anchor for that team. He really makes it hard for the opposition to finish. And yeah,
yeah, I think he's a really good player. I think yesterday against the Wizards, he had like Donovan Mitchell had like 32 points,
mhm.
five assists and 3 rebounds,
And they have a
and Gobert
decent.
had like 11 points and 19 rebounds. I
I
think
mean, that's what
he's
he's
really
gonna give you, like a good
yeah
10, 15 points with a good, like, give or so 15 rebounds, couple
mhm.
blocks with great defense that might not even be able to be measured on a basic stat sheet.
Yeah. Jordan Clarkson, Rudy Gay,
Mhm.
Hassan Whiteside off the bench. I
They
mean
have,
they
yeah,
have like
that's supporting cast. I like
yeah, that's
Hassan
really good.
Whiteside off the bench, Jordan
Hmm.
Clarkson obviously 6 man of the year, and then Joe Ingles was like second, I'm pretty sure last year, but he was in that race too. So
Yeah, I think they're really underrated players, and
mhm.
I
I
think
feel like
this
yeah,
team if they didn't play the Clippers last year, if they beat the Clippers for example and they went to the Western Conference Finals against the Suns, I felt like they would have won that.
yeah,
I feel like the Suns would have lost to the Jazz. I think the Jazz are a lot more strong, we're a lot stronger than the Suns, and
mhm. I feel like yeah,
yeah,
at the current time, I feel like Gobert could have done a great job on DeAndre Ayton. And one thing about the Clippers really is they don't have a big man defensive presence. Sure, they had
yeah,
Boogie Cousins. He didn't play
they
much.
have
They had
Zubac. They have
Ivica
Zubac
Zubac.
just average.
He's okay. Like
Hmm.
if I feel like that, that's one reason. Also, Aiden got that winner. So like I feel like if they had a defensive center, that
Yeah,
would have been better.
so
But
I
that's it
think
for all the Christmas
yeah,
games. I
all the
think it's gonna
Jazz
be a
will
fun
win.
day as an NBA fan. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Be sure to like and subscribe and see ya.